the smoke-filled clouds of the 303, all the way down to the 505. This is the Dro Bro Show with Remo Vinci, Grimx, and Soul Doja. Yeah, the Dro Bro Show.
Da, da, da.
What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Vicious, Remo Vinci, and we are back with episode 11 of the Dro Bros Show. And as usual, I'm with my fellow Dro Bros, Grim X and Soul Doja. Say what's up, fellas.
What up, everybody?
And for episode 11 today, this is our music episode, and we're going to hit you with something dope today. Grim, why don't you let them know what we're going to hit them with today?
So today's episode is going to be about rap beefs, the history of rap beefs, or historical rap beefs, I should say. And let's start with defining what a rap beef is. It
Well,
can be
hold on.
defined as
Leading up to where we're at now, because what spawned this whole thing,
is the Kendrick Drake.
exactly. There's this big thing in hip hop right now with this Kendrick and Drake beef. So that's what kind of sparked the whole thing here. So let Grim go ahead and get into it here and teach y'all what's cracking.
So rap beef can be defined as a feud between rappers who create songs that's primary purpose is to verbally attack each other. The songs are known as diss tracks and can be a display of lyrical superiority for artists and entertainment heaven for fans.
Hell yeah. And like rap beefs or battles actually per se are instrumental to the foundation of hip hop. You know, like rapping and MCing came from the battle rap. It came from trying to show each other up. It came, it was all friendly competition. So in the world of hip hop and rap, it's almost a necessity for growth. You know what I mean? Because you keep pushing each other to do better and to who's got the best punchline, who's got the best little jab at each other or whatever, So historically, it's been a big thing.
And like rap battling it's pretty fun, but people do get sad and people get hurt over stuff because I seen my boy Ashes make a lot of people cry.
Hence the name. But let's go ahead and get into some more of the historical stuff about the beefs. Go ahead, Grim.
Well, for me and what I've known about it, and not from something I'm reading off the computer, but what I've understood, that battle rap came from gangster rap, and to not kill each other on the streets, they would instead battle it out with lyrics and see who was the better man. And this way, it became a way of competitiveness without having to be such an aggressive way of dealing with your enemies, basically. And
so hold on.
music.
I don't mean to cut you off right there, Grim, but from what I've heard in like other documentaries or other things that I've seen, is it goes back even further than that, before gangster rap was ever even into the picture, where this thing they used to call the dozens was something that was a popular thing in like the ghettos and in that type of a culture, to where in these poor neighborhoods or whatever, you would always have like this sportsmanship, this gamemanship, right, of trying to like call down the other one, and they would go back and forth like your mama jokes kind of thing, right? Like it would stem from something more like that, which escalated into like more of a rhyme form and more of a rhythmic type of a diss, right? And then from there, it kind of evolved. Like we said, when hip hop started, it was a lot more playful. It wasn't as deep in like jabs to the fucking gut. You know what I mean? It was more, hip hop in its infancy was a lot more innocent. You know what I'm saying? So it had a whole different vibe to it. But once gangster rap got a hold of it, it turned everything on its head. It changed everything, because then it took like what you're trying to say, it took from like doing hood shit and like guns and getting to each other that way. And it gave it a new spin on it to where I'm gonna battle you this way. but it definitely took a turn once gangster rap got a hold of it.
Well,
Go ahead.
well, it reminds me of like, like even when we're together, like we do cut downs or smart ass remarks or being funny. Like I'm always sarcastic with everybody that go around. And if I make fun of you, I'm not doing it in a hateful way. I'm doing it because I like you and it's funny. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like that's kind of what spawned that in the beginning. Because like when you're with your bros, you're always shooting the shit and bullshitting. Like kind of making fun of each other. It's kind of like it's like a fun thing to do. I guess I don't know. Maybe not
No, no,
everybody's like us either. I don't know.
it's almost like a form of camaraderie too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a brotherhood almost. Like we're all in this together. We're all from the same place. Anyway, go ahead,
Yeah.
Grim. I didn't mean to cut you off, my brother.
No, you're good. So, I mean, that was basically my point. But yeah, and then you took the words out of my mouth with the camaraderie thing, and I guess the movie Waiting, for those of you who haven't seen it, that was like the main moral of the story is that they have this game where they mess around with each other and they call each other a name that I don't really want to say on here, and that is what saved the business in the end because that camaraderie that came from the game because the business was failing, and what made the group come together and run the business and do better and have this competitive nature was this game.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I like the comparison. Um, but as far as like the rapping and battle rap and hip hop goes, um, these battle rap competitions have always been like a thing too. Like in hip hop culture, like that's always been something that has been a focal point and a center of attraction almost. For hip hop fests and conventions. I don't know if you guys have heard of things like Scribble Jam or some of these other hip hop summits. Where they have actual competitions. Like Eminem was known for getting down, before he blew up and stuff at one of those Scribble Jams. I think he famously lost to somebody. I wish I could remember all the details of it all. But just the culture of battle rapping in itself has its whole genre all unto itself. You know what I mean? I remember several years ago there was this dude named Serious Jones. And every time I saw a new video of Serious Jones, my cousin used to put me on game with some of his videos, and this dude was just destroying dudes. But see, that rapping is a whole different type of flavor. It's different. A lot of those type of rappers don't necessarily translate well when it comes to like recorded music, actual beats and stuff like that, because freestyles are not necessarily as rhythmic as a regular song. They're more for punchlines, so it's a little bit different. Um, let's go ahead and get into some of our notable historical beefs that have
Well,
kind of shaped the game.
I was gonna say real quick, like before we get into most of these beefs that we get into, like actually turn into like a lot of serious stuff and like real hateful. But the art of battle rap was not a hateful thing. It was like a fun thing. And I want to bring up, I recently forgot about it, but Cat Williams used to do the Wilding Out show on MTV. And it was comical, it was funny. They'd cut each other down, they'd have so many seconds. And none, I don't think any of them were rappers. Maybe Nick Cannon. I don't, but it was funny. Like it's hilarious. They would make fun of each other, and it was just a fun thing to do.
Good stuff. Great point. Great point. Um, what are some of the first beefs or battles or whatever that you can remember, Grim, that you came across in your hip hop fandom?
Well, I mean, obviously, you got to start from the beginning, right? And for me, I'm going to get into this one first. I get it. Like most people are going to say the NWA era, but DJ Quick was out before NWA. Okay. He's even said it. He's the first one who put it down in the West. Um, DJ Quick, when he feuded with MC8. So DJ Quick is he's a gang member, and he's Treetop Pyru. He was yelling TTP on his tracks back in the day, and people didn't know because he was saying it was like turntable productions or something like that, right? And or anyways, so people didn't know what he was throwing up in music until, except for people on the streets. And he was performing at a concert one time, and MC8 came in, and they were set tripping because they're from another group of Bloods too. And that basically started a beef between them, which DJ Quick did that song, "If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense." He basically calls him out, but simultaneously, like, well, I guess it's not simultaneously because it wasn't until around 1998 with Rhythmalism where he said, if you ever get your head together, maybe we could do a track. But they ended up doing a whole record together, out of that beef, and it ended up making them better because everyone who knows MC8 remembers MC8 from freaking "Don't Be a Menace." This track on "Don't Be a Menace,"
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I know of MC8. I know there's a movie with Fat Joe and Mac 10. It's called Thicker Than Water. It's actually a pretty good flick. But MC8's one of the main characters in that one, and I guess that's where you get to see more of his personality. But yeah, go ahead, Doja. My fault.
Isn't that Menace to Society you guys are talking about?
No,
Yeah.
oh yeah. I'm sorry, yeah.
Because you said don't be a menace, and I'm like, I don't think he was in
Yeah,
that funny movie.
Satire.
Hey, we better correct it on here so they don't correct us in the comments.
Right.
No, but isn't the song called "Don't Be
We
a
are
Menace"?
the Bro Show.
Oh, I think it is called something like that. That
Yeah.
song,
Okay.
or straight up menace.
Oh,
Straight
yeah.
up.
That song's tight too. Yeah, that was like the theme song of the show, the movie.
Yep.
See, I was never much of a MC8 guy though. He was all right, but I felt like he just had a certain pitch, and that was it. You know what I mean? He was a one trick pony, and that was okay, but wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? So when it came to one or the other, to me it was Quick all day because Quick was way more versatile. He was a dope, like a producer. He had all these other skills. I felt like on top of it. Now I didn't know any of that at the time, but I think it obviously kind of shined through with just the quality of the music. I really felt like that dollars and cents was where it was at.
Yeah.
I feel like MC8 was like kind of like gangster smooth rap, and then like DJ Quick was like, I mean, he has that one song Tonight. He had like fun party songs, and then he could do the gangster. Like he was more doing everything. Like MC8 was just like straight up gang, straight up menace.
I think Quick I think Quick was at a time where it was about like this crossover, you know what I mean? To where it was like this poppy, funky, gangster shit all fused in one. And I feel like he was kind of him and Warren G kind of remind me a lot of each other in that regard, where they were kind of taking a lot of old aspects of music in different eras and combining them with this new age hip hop thing,
Yeah.
gangster rhythm to it, and kind of infusing that together. It was pretty dope.
Like, yeah,
What was
making
some?
those
Oh,
smooth jams.
Yeah, exactly. What was some of the first ones that you remember coming across, Doja? Some of the first beefs.
Fight the Easy E versus it. I was gonna say Dr. Dre, but it wasn't. It was like all Death Row Records because he did like few tracks and dissed them pretty good on the Death Row and like. But it'd probably be like Easy E, and then next would probably be the Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah.
And
As far
honestly, I was so hardcore Tupac fan that I didn't even listen to East Coast music for a long time.
yeah, I'm right there with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
as far as the Easy E and Dr. Dre or whatever, it was really like label against label. Because
Yeah, exactly.
I remember having some some CDs from BG, was it BG Knockout and Dresta
Yeah.
or whatever that
Yeah,
were
he's
Easy.
on that song.
Yeah. And I remember that whole album they were dogging him out too. And then like when Snoop dropped with Dre, like a lot of the Doggy Style album was kind of flossing on them fools. You know what I mean?
Hey,
So
I was listening to that was kind of a funny beef. Like Dr. Dre did that. I was listening to that song last night. Making fun of Easy E on the Chronic album, and then remember he even did like a video for it, and he had like I think it was what I forget what comedian was playing Easy E in the video, and he's like holding up a homeless sign, "We'll rap for money" or
Wasn't it Chris
whatever, and
Rock?
like, huh?
Wasn't it Chris Rock?
I want to say it
No,
was.
I think it's AJ Johnson.
Oh
I
wait, yeah, it's AJ Johnson.
Because he's the one in Friday, right? Where he's the one
Hmm.
that Smokey's back here taking his shit. That guy,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was laughing because I forgot about a lot of the beefs and shit, and then I was like kind of getting into it, and checking it, and I was like, I said, fuck, that shit was kind of funny, like what Dre and them were doing, but Easy E shit was like gangster shit, like he's like,
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah,
well, y'all dudes got a couple years on me. So my first introduction into like any kind of beef was like where you were going, with Tupac and Biggie. So I'm like 10, 11, something like that. And this beef is coming to its culmination where people are it's now taking this whole beef thing to the next level, and people are actually getting killed. You know what I mean? And it's like this whole side, side of the nation versus this side of the nation, East Coast, West Coast. It turned into this
yeah.
huge thing where it all started off where it was about music and who's the tighter rapper and who's the tighter MC and who's got the
And
cooler
then,
flow and all that kind of shit. To now it's who's taking who out kind of thing. And
and
it Go ahead.
oh, I was just saying on the Tupac and Biggie, it like blew my mind to learn down the road that those fools were like homies. They were doing songs together. Like they had some like that remix that Eminem did, the Running song. That's a fact. Both their verses are tight. Like there's one thing that Biggie says on there. I always remember he's like, picture me running, I'll fuck around and have an asthma attack. It's like that shit's
Two
hilarious sometimes.
fuck around and catch an asthma attack. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like that shit's fucking hilarious. And they were talking about going against the cops because that was the real issue and the problem, even prior to this day.
I mean, I'm not gonna get into that one, but I think it's
That's for
true
you guys
how
later.
that's on what's that called? That's for
Yeah,
another episode. What's that called?
yeah. Episode 5.
No, but I've always been a Hawk dude, and so funny thing since we're gonna bring this beef up is that because of what happened to Tupac, DJ Quick is tied to this story, and he does a song on rhythmalism because he was right across the street at the spot where Biggie got shot at, and they were basically saying it was a gang retaliation. You know how they're saying that it was the Southside Crips who murked Pac. So they were saying because DJ Quick was a blood that's why Biggie got hit.
Hmm.
I see. I remember you bringing that up in our podcast episode. Excuse me.
We better we, we better close that one quick fast because Tupac and Biggie. We could do a whole episode on
Yeah.
those on that beef.
I mean, we kind of did get into it already. If you want to refer back to our Tupac episode 2,
Yeah.
if you don't know.
But
But
touching on
after
Doge,
that, to me, I don't know about y'all, but as far as like mainstream rap goes, and as far as like moving the culture beyond that beef, I felt like it was the Nas and Jay-Z beef that kind of took it to the next level now, to where it brought it back to actual lyricism, and it brought it back to where it all began. And when we were picking our songs for the episode, Doja initially jumped on one of the hottest ones to ever fucking come out. Period. You know what I mean? And
Hey,
he had since recanted, and he had picked a couple other ones that are lesser known. But this beef in particular spawned Ether, and Ether is widely regarded as probably the dopest diss track of all time, next to Hit 'Em Up. Because Hit 'Em Up is up there on some whole other shit. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So
But
so
Ether, dude, all I could say about that is that shouldn't even be considered a beef because with that song alone right there, that was it. It was squashed, done deal. I mean, Nas just tore it up. It's over.
I feel like the hit 'em up was like, hey, this some real shit, motherfucker. You know, it's on, bitch. You know, like hateful. And the
Yeah,
Nas was like, I'll show you how lyrical I am, bro. Because I
yeah,
was actually, I after I text you that, I put the song on my phone because I haven't heard it in a while, and
yeah.
I listened to it probably like 5 times in a row because the lyricalism that he does in that shit is badass. Like, and knowing like what it takes to spit that shit, because I spit some tongue twisters too that are hard to do, and you know what I'm talking about, Remo. Like
No
some of
doubt.
that's like when they come lyrically like that, it was like, you know, Grim said, it was done. It was like, what are you gonna answer back on that? That fool killed you lyrically, like everything, like that one part where he's like, you got Rockefeller, you guys Rockfellas, and I'm like, oh shit,
How
and I
about
always hated Jay Z too.
Rockefeller? Yep,
Yeah, like, and I was
yep.
like, yeah, that is so funny. And like to me, like Jay Z gets all this credit, like, oh, he don't write his lyrics down. He's the greatest rapper, and I'm like, no, he's not. Like he sucks. Like I never been a fan of.
Weezy is way better than, and he don't write his lyrics either. You know what I mean?
Hey,
I'm not.
so
I'm not
Doja.
a Wayne fan or a Jay Z fan. But back to Ether just for a second. Did you guys know? I watched a few videos on this track because I kind of fell into a wormhole one time a few months back about this whole beef with Jay Z and Nas, and there's a third verse to Ether that never came out, and
Ah,
only like a transcript of it or whatever, or a piece of the fucking lyrics has came out. Like there's no audio or anything that has ever been released. Like it's all been destroyed or whatnot. And even in this little bit of transcript that shows that Nas was he was gonna take his ass out even further. You know what I mean? Give it another kill shot on the fucking top of it, all the rest of it. You know what I mean? But fucking that beef in particular, I feel like transcended hip hop. You know what I mean? It took it to the next level. It brought it out of that scary situation that we lived through with Pac and Biggie, and took it into this whole new place. You know what I mean? To where it felt safe again, but at the same time, it was real as fuck too. You know what I mean? Because Nas put it down like that. Now from there, we kind of moved into this other era where 50 Cent came and destroyed Ja Rule. You know, like,
no, you can't. No, you can't do 50 Cent first because Eminem came out and they were hating on him, and then 50
you're right. You're
came.
right. You're right. You're
50K,
right. You're
because
absolutely right.
like Eminem, like, well, like I said, one of the songs I brought up was Slim Anus, which was done by ICP, and that fool, because he was battle rapping everybody in Detroit and getting, you know, and everybody hated on him because there's a white dude rapping. I mean, like he came out that first song, I'm like, what the fuck is it? My name is, you know, I was like, that shit's annoying as hell. But then I mean, nowadays I got into Eminem, and you know he's pretty tight. Like he's pretty lyrical too. You know, like. But then like yeah, and then 50K. I was trying to write down 50 shit, man. He's like beast with Ja Rule, beast with this person, beast with the game, beast with, and then like Eminem, ICP, Machine Gun Kelly, Eve Sean, Benzino, like like the list goes on. Like.
But to be honest,
Royce the
Emin-
5'9".
I feel like Eminem didn't have to do a whole or a whole song. He did it in a verse, you know, on Marshall Mathers, and I feel like that he smashed him in that one.
Oh,
You know,
hey, I'll
Like
tell you
I've
something
never.
that
Go ahead.
I'll, I'll tell you something that most people don't know what you're talking about there, Grim. He did the Up and Smoke tour, and he would bring out two inflate. I don't know if you know this or not, but he would bring out two inflatable dolls that were naked, and they had ICP's face painted. And he goes, "Yeah, ICP's in the house." Like he's all hyping the crowd. He's like, "Yeah, come out." And then they come out, and he, you know, put, "Oh yeah, suck it, Violent J," you know, and he would do that shit on stage. And like so, that fool not only humiliated on a track, he was touring and humiliating those fools. That's why that, and honestly, that beef got real bad in Detroit too with Deshaun and with that shit too. They got in fights. They got thrown off the Warp Tour. There was all kinds of stuff over that. But I mean, that's hilarious shit though.
I mean, you're absolutely right. Like Eminem, because he was the white dude that was trying to make it happen in rap, he had to take everything to the extreme, I think, to make it work. And that's why we have this incredible lyricist that we have. That's why we have this fearless uh, creative mind that we have. He's definitely a Hall of Fame talent. Now, I've never really been an Eminem guy, but you can't deny the talent, and you can't deny his killer instinct when it comes to all of these beats. Like, dude is he's as dope as it gets when it comes to some of that shit, bro. You know what I mean? I've never seen anybody
Hey,
just mentally destroy somebody like how he does a lot of times, and it's
like
pretty crazy.
like the Machine Gun Kelly song, like I was saying earlier. If you listen to the Kill Shot and you pay attention, he's not rhyming just like words. He's rhyming the whole sentences, which is like pretty like fucking crazy to do, and like he's critiquing words and stuff, and it's like, and he's like writing down little things about the music video and stuff. But I also seen on this video that they both have they're connected with the same producer, and his shit was just to promote his album. That wasn't even a real beef. They were acting
I mean,
fakers,
that's
just
that's the
like
point where
just
we're
like
at.
Drake and Kendrick.
But
Oh, hold on, we'll
uh,
get to that. We'll get to that.
can't forget the likes of like Ti and Little Flip either, man. Because Little Flip, he made it 10,000 albums, well, decks sold out of the back of his trunk, which is hard
Hey,
to say for most rappers that weren't signed, right? He was an
and
unsigned rapper at the time.
and Little Flip got famous for doing freestyles too and battling and stuff down south.
Yep.
Bro, I don't think
He's
Flip
a
gets
cool
half the
dude.
fuck. Yeah, I don't think Flip gets half the credit he deserves, bro. Flip, I
No,
feel like he gets kind of disrespected because of that Ti shit. You know what I mean? But
hey, I didn't know. So wait, those two beefed?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was featured. It was actually featured on one of those beef documentaries. Um,
Oh,
it was over
what?
the whole. It was over the whole title of the King of the South.
Yeah.
Because Flip's from Houston,
Oh,
and Ti I think's from Atlanta, but
Yeah.
um,
And
that's
Flip
almost on the
just
separate coasts. One's Gulf, one's East. What the
you
hell?
and like Flip wasn't even necessarily trying to claim it for himself. He felt more so as though Scarface was the one who earned that title, and Scarface wasn't really trying to take it, and Ti was just trying to take it. So it
That's
just
when.
kind of created this whole thing.
And then
But
SPM came out and they shut. They were like, "Oh nope, you're the king."
well, see, SPM is weird too, bro. Where they don't even really acknowledge him as much, which is kind of strange, because dude had obviously a wide impact on the game. He's one of my top fours. So SPM, I feel like, is widely underappreciated and totally disrespected when it comes to the hip hop game. Regardless of whether or not you agree with him as a human being and whatnot. But
we can't skimp out on the Ice Cube and Cypress Hill either, because freaking
Oh, I have.
that
I
beef
got.
over freaking Ice Cube stealing Beat Real's lyrics, and then
But
Sen Dog knocking him out while he was in traffic and stole his West Side Connection chain, and then they were around with it in the club. Um, so Dub C and Mac 10. Dub C was
well,
a Mac 10 was a blood. Cypress Hill were with the Bloods until one of them got shot, and they ended up, cutting ties with all that. But see, the back during this whole thing was Mac 10, and Ice Cube dogged them all out for him getting knocked out and all that stuff happening. And the thing is, Ice Cube and Mac 10 never made amends when Mac 10 had passed away.
what? He's dead now.
no, Mac 10's not passed away, fool.
Oh, was it Mac 10?
No, I don't know which
Hey,
one you're talking about, to be honest with you.
I mean, Mac 10 was part of the West Side Connection, but
Yeah, he
I
still
think
fucks
he's
with it.
still alive. He does like he sets up parties and shit now. Like he
What?
started a site when he went to Cash Money. He started up that business where like he throws
Yeah,
Mac.
it's funny.
He
What?
he He probably throws P Diddy parties.
Oh, okay. That's a whole nother podcast. Don't even start that shit.
Hey, we better save that for what's that called?
um.
We're trying to keep it PG.
Well. So I was getting into earlier how a lot of these beefs, you basically kind of up to you. You take one or the other, it's kind of subjective, it's all whatever. But when it came down to the 50 Cent Ja Rule beef, that was one
Hey,
where it was like it actually impacted somebody's career for the first time. You know what I mean? Like really negatively impacted somebody's career like that. Because Ja Rule,
hey,
before 50 came out, Ja Rule was making a lot of music that was like hip hop. It's a new phrase that I've tried to coin recently. You know what I mean? Hip hop. Because it was very poppy hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It had this mainstream crossover appeal with Ashanti on all the fucking choruses, on all the songs, and it
did he?
was like all this like love song music, this love rap. And Ja Rule had that voice where it was kind of cool, like you could get down to it kind of. So he was on top of the world. This dude was making hit after hit after hit, and they were fucking, you know, like on top of all of it. And then 50 comes out, and 50 does one song, Wankster, and fucking
Uh,
destroys everything that Ja Rule was doing. And
I,
like that's kind of what started a lot of a new era in hip hop, a new breed. You know what I mean? Eminem brought 50 along with him, and Aftermath. Now Dre had his own conglomerate. Now you know what I mean? And it was like this whole thing, and it created a whole new era. So
So
that 50 Ja Rule was like very, very influential into hip hop history, I think.
so
Excuse me.
touch on that is because I was watching something, and I mean it wasn't Eminem saying it, but somebody else was saying it, that he's been noted as saying that that's the reason why he didn't really sing about his other two daughters. His one daughter and then the other adopted daughter from his sister. He mentioned them once in a song, but he said he didn't mention them really in the songs, and why Haley was is because after the beeps, he didn't realize when he mentioned his daughter in the song that she would become a target and that it would hurt her life too. And
Yeah,
that he didn't really want to bring up his other kids in the music ever again
yeah.
because it is what happened. And people like Ja Rule, and he was one who took shots at Haley along other rappers. I mean,
Ja Rule did?
uh,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
because
know that.
that's what started it, and then fucking Eminem squashed the shit out of him, and then
With
that's when
D
50
and
fucked
Busta.
him up. Yeah, well, and then 50 fucked him up in the club, and they took his chain, and then that's when that Wankster came out because that doll had the Ja Rule's chain on it that he punked him for. Because that was a thing back in the day. Like even Death Row Records, they had bounties on their chains. So if you
Yeah.
got punked for your chain, you had to go get it back. Like
Hmm.
like Friday and Debo. Hey, my great grandma gave me that chain.
Oh, and just
I'm,
like Young
I'm
Jeezy
still
and
something on
Gucci,
you.
man.
uh,
Just like
well,
Young Jeezy and Gucci, where
oh yeah, I forgot.
Jeezy paid someone to try to snatch Gucci's chain. Remember, Gucci shot
Oh,
them.
that's funny. Oh, and then I was telling my daughter Trinity, I don't know if you guys saw this, but like it was probably a couple years back. But Ja Rule was doing a show, and 50 Cent like bought up like the first 10 rows of the tickets. So like he was like
They're,
performing in a front empty.
they're still doing stuff like that, man. I just saw on Instagram today. There's a Rick Ross show that I guess Drake or somebody they said, bought up a bunch of fucking shit, and there was like 50 people in this whole big auditorium. It was crazy, bro.
That is hilarious.
I don't understand that though, because if you're buying up all the tickets, they still get the loot. Just rapping to 50 people. You know what I mean? Like that
But
sucks
they
as a
won't get
business.
that. They don't get that clout, but putting it on film and filming it and promoting it and stuff. It's kind of embarrassing that you're a big
It's
artist and you're.
embarrassing, but he still got paid.
I
You know
mean,
what I'm
like, yeah, I mean, that's how you'd have to tell yourself, "Hey, I got paid," so you don't
I
go home
like
and hang
dumb
yourself.
That's how I would feel. I'd be like, you're the dumb fuck that paid for this shit. You know what I mean? Like, shit, you bought up all my tickets. You should have came to the show. You know what I
That shit,
mean?
that's funny though. I mean, that's to me, that's like comical beef, you know, like
Yeah,
not like setting people to shoot each other and shit like that. You know, that's kind of funny. Like, you know, it's like, but yeah, it's
yeah,
like you said. Either way, I got paid, so
right.
buy them all, buddy. Next time I'll charge double.
I know, right? Shit. If I would known that was gonna be the case, every fucking package would have been a VIP package. Shit.
Right? Like shit. Hey, but back to that Cypress Hill and the West Side Connection. I was listening to those songs. Oh god, and they are so hilarious. Like both sides is just so funny. Be real though, I think came sick with his man. Like his flow, he's just like and that beat, and then that whole album, that era, that shit was tight. Like the three
Yeah.
Temples of Doom or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
yeah, they
uh,
did that.
I think
And
Be
then
Real
like
is way underappreciated. You know what I mean? He's an
I
underrated
think
lyricist.
I think like maybe nationwide, but that fool's pretty like well known, and they do a lot in Cali. You know what I mean? They throw weed festivals for like weekends and shit. Like you know they're very
He's big in the culture, especially in the cannabis
yeah.
culture. He's big in the culture, but I feel like as far as like rap in general goes, you know what I mean? And as far as like rap lyricism in itself, not even
Oh,
Latino rap lyricism, just rap lyricism, period. Or even longevity as far as being a pioneer. Like that dude's been putting it down forever and he's still dope. So, Be Real, he deserves all the props.
um uh fuck I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, have either of you guys seen Cypress Hill live before?
Nah, bro, that'd be dope though. Y'all-
Dude, check it. I got a story real quick. Fucking
Let's get
Isaiah came up to me one day and he was like, "Hey, Dad, if I buy some Cypress Hill tickets for me and you, will you go to the concert with me?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!" So me, Swerve, and Isaiah went. Isaiah was still in the closet about smoking weed and shit. So me and Swerve rolled up probably like 30 joints. But anyways, uh, for Isaiah, we're there like. But anyways, the reason I brought it up, fucking for almost like it was like 3 or 4 songs. They had live instruments all up while they're performing. Fucking Be Real, uh Sindog came out, and or is it Sindog? The other one that raps, what's his name?
it's Sendog, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Because
Sindog. Oh,
the third one is DJ Muggs,
oh
right?
Muggs. Yeah, right. My bad. But anyways, he was rapping and B Real was playing the fucking drums, the bongos, the fucking all these other instruments that were set up around while he was rapping. Like it wasn't just like fools rapping on stage. These guys were actually playing instruments. They were doing it was like a 2 hour performance. It was amazing performance that I they had to be like probably one of the top performances of rap I've ever seen.
That's
Like,
dope.
yeah.
That's hella dope, bro. I would love to go see him. I know they do a lot of festivals, especially like the weed festivals and stuff like that. So it would be
Yeah,
dope.
they're it's wild work. Yeah, that was like I said, that was probably one of the best concerts I've been to. It was dope. And what was dope was like those guys were music people. Like they were playing music and shit. It was
Hell yeah.
cool. But back to these beefs. What
No, no,
year?
no. I think that's a perfect segue from going out to Cypress Hill, who's known for smoking weed, to taking us to our drumming of the week. How about that?
Yeah.
So Doja, you be puffing all these clouds right now of all this wonderful awesomeness. What you got going there? What you burning?
So I got this weed from my Uncle Rick, and I was like, "Hey, Uncle, I need some joints for the show because I just been doing tons of dabs." And so my uncle, he one of his buddies grows it out there in California, so it's some California homegrown weed, and I have no idea what it is, but it's good.
All right. Man, what you puffing on today?
Papaya Dream.
What is it?
Papaya Dream.
Papaya Dream.
Oh, that's a good papaya.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm still with the same two cards. The, the cherry. Hey man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I got the cherry and I got the cereal milk. So double timing with the cards here. And the flower is a little different though. I wish I could remember the strain though. I just hit a bowl before we came in. It's another cherry something though. I got three different cherries. I thought had a little cherry medley going on here.
My flower was apricot something. I can't remember if it's apricot haze or a different name, but it was
Yeah.
a
I like those the fruity strains with the good
yeah.
tasting stuff. Like,
Right.
it was
Right.
good. Yeah.
And it makes it feel perfect for the time too. We're in springtime. It's about to be summer and shit. Got these nice fruit flavors and shit, tropical type shit. Feels good. So
Right.
with that, y'all ready for our drumming of the week?
Yeah.
Here's to you.
Oh yeah.
And that
Hey,
has been our drumming of the week.
we should make a short with all the drill moments.
All right.
I'll get
It's
I'll get on
also
it.
you'll just see us coughing all over the place for a while. It'll be
I'll
dope.
play it in reverse.
So
Hey, I did that.
what's the next beat that you want to get into there, Grim?
Well, what are we at on time?
We're at 41 minutes. Or you want to get into the main event here?
No,
No,
so
wait, look. I have a list.
I want to mention one though. Haven't
Go
mentioned
ahead. Get him in there. Get him in there.
Lil Kim and
Okay.
Foxy Brown.
Okay,
Who?
yeah.
Little Kim?
Yeah. So
Oh
so
yeah, I forgot about that.
I don't know exactly what all of that was all about. I think it was just for who was going to be the top dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, Foxy's from New York, isn't she? Because she dated DMX for a minute. That's what the whole beef between DMX and Corrupt was, because she was married to Corrupt and had kids with Corrupt.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she was seen leaving a club with DMX or something, is the rumor, and that's why he did that. But they ended up squashing their beef in 2021. I didn't know that.
Huh.
At an airport, they ran into each other or something. They ended up squashing their beef. I was kind of reading it on it at some point, but yeah, you know, I just wanted to mention it because Lil Kim, everyone knows, is associated to Biggie and
Yeah.
Diddy. She's a big player in the game, and then Foxy being associated to Corrupt, DMX, and the likes.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to this fool again. He's our disappearing invisible man over here. Anyway, yeah, I feel like Lil Kim is probably beef with more than just Foxy too. I can't think of any other ones right now, right off the top, but I feel like she has. Um, is there any others that you really want to mention real quick before we get into the main event? Because if we're gonna throw our songs into the mix here at the end, we're gonna need to get a little time here cut off. So, Doja, you got any other
Watch,
ones you want to throw in there?
watch. I'll run. I'll go down real fast.
All right.
So we mentioned Easy E, Cypress Hill, 50 Cent, Tupac, Ice Cube, Bone Thugs. Bone Thugs got hated on by a bunch of group bands. Do or Die, Crucial Conflict, 3 6 Mafia. And it was rumored that Wu Tang was also beefing with them. And then, um, let's see. Oh, I put Falling in Reverse. He beefed with his old band. That's that Tech Nine collabo. I thought
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
kind of cool. My brother was telling me about that, but he beefed with his old band and he would go to their concerts and start fights with them when they were performing on stage and shit. So
yeah.
I just thought that was kind of funny story that my brother told me about him. So I thought I'd bring that up because it's rock. But one I thought was kind of funny was Timberland and Scott Storch. and I
Oh,
didn't know those two beefed, and they're producers.
Yeah.
yeah. There's been a lot of production beefs too that I'm sure that kind of go under the radar, unless you're really paying attention. But yeah, some of
Yeah.
those are pretty tight.
I'm gonna
And
list a couple too that I'm just gonna say a quick couple, but like 50 or I mean Eminem and Cannabis and LL Cool J, um,
I had that one.
Red One and MC Sean. I didn't know though 50 Cent and Jizza were beefing. Did you guys?
I never
Yeah,
saw that one either, no.
and Jada Kiss.
Yeah.
50, fucking 50 Cent's another one that has like too many beefs to keep count.
Rick Ross, Cameron.
Rick Ross has been in a lot of them. Yep.
There's a Ice Cube and Cameron.
Yep. And Common. Ice Cube and
Oh,
Common.
Ice Cube and the whole West Side Connect. Yep. Luke
Nicki,
and T.I.
Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma,
And
Hmm.
didn't her and Megan the Stallion just kind of get into it too recently?
and she would beef with the. I feel like she's kind of like Nicki's like the new Lil Kim, but she like beefed with also with Cardi B too.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
On
then
another
Cardi B
fun,
kind of fearless. She's ready to take anybody on too.
Yeah.
and then it was another kind of interesting one that was like a newer one was Bone Thugs versus the Migos or whatever,
Oh
Yeah.
and
really?
yeah, they fuck each Bone member kind of like did their own tracks and answered back to them because like the Migos supposedly said that they were like outdated or something, like they were making
Yeah.
fun of their age and
You know
a
what?
bit.
Bone. I feel like Bone gets hated on a lot too, bro. And Bone to me is one of the most innovative, important groups in hip hop history. In fact, we need to do one of our next profiles on Bone because I think they deserve it. You know,
Yeah, that'd
they
be a
get
fun one actually.
yeah. I'm a big Bone guy, but
Yeah, they were the second rappers I ever heard in my life,
yeah.
and it was so different from the two styles. And then like it was like I was saying earlier, I would hear him and I go, "How did they do that? What is he saying? You know, like how is he spitting this whole paragraph in this little amount of like, yeah."
And they have their beefs with Twista and you know what I mean, some 3-6
Well, it's
people
because
like that.
everybody was beefing off the fast style and shit.
Yeah.
Hey, and another one with 3-6 that kind of people don't know is the him versus Kingpin Skinny Pimp, and supposedly that they jacked all his stuff, his beats and stuff,
Well, he
and
was one of them. He was in 3-6 for a while.
But
yeah,
before we get to the main event, how about the freaking Age of Adonis, right? With freaking what the hell is his name? Pusha T and
go ahead.
Drake, right? When he
Oh yeah,
called,
Drake and Pusha
So,
T are on there, huh? Yeah.
yeah,
so yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like all of this, all of these beats have kind of all led us up to where we are now today. You know what I mean? It's been this whole evolution of hip hop beefs, and for the last like 10 or 15 years or so, you haven't really seen much stuff like that. Little remnants. Today, when I was doing a little bit of research for the show, I watched a few videos that kind of gave in-depth um, analysis on this beef in particular. But it really goes back a lot further than I thought. And it shows stuff from like shit over 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So without further ado, you want to get into the main event right here, Grim?
Hey, I
uh,
wanted to name one more funny one. It was Chris Brown and Quavo from Migos too.
oh yeah,
And that's something that's actually happening right now too, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's fairly new.
Now, I haven't actually heard any of that, so I can't really comment too much on that one.
Chris Brown, he killed it pretty good.
But were y'all able to listen to the video I sent you guys that played all these tracks in consecutive? You
yeah.
you did,
So
Grim?
again, so I wanted to mention the Pusha T because that's something that stood out to me in one of the songs. And see, because I was listening to it while working, I wasn't able to look at it and then see what songs what, right?
Yeah.
But in one, Kendrick Drake for not being a father and saying stuff about how his father wouldn't accept him and raise him, basically, and that's why Drake's doing the same to his son, and he says it's probably for the better. Also, comparisons with Prince and Michael Jackson, but then the rebuttal from Drake on it, man, and I'm definitely like a Kendrick guy just because I like the more West Coast and stuff, and Drake really he has good songs, but he's not my vibe, and he has a ghostwriter, but his rebuttal was pretty good, I have to say. You know, he
Uh,
always does, but he has a ghostwriter, so for me, it's kind of like, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, I feel you. So I don't have any of the actual like song titles or whatever written down or any of that kind of stuff. I just heard them all today for the first time because I've been out the loop for a minute and I'm not really that interested to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like to me, I was like, whatever. So for the sake to be topical and all that, I decided, to peep it all out. So my overall feeling of it all was that Kendrick, and again, like I said, this seems to go back way further than I thought. And Kendrick's been on some hater shit for a minute with Drake. From what I understand, Drake kind of helped put Kendrick onto the mainstream. You know what I mean? He had him on tour
I
with it
knew it.
when he first came out. So
Yeah, Game put him on, and that's why Game does that song, dude. That freaking he sings about how Dre then went and did his stuff with Kendrick, but he felt proud of Kendrick coming up, you know, even though he had to end his relationship
I'll,
with.
Yeah, I'll share this video with you. But Kendrick was on tour with Drake when he was still pretty unknown. You know what I mean? And he put him on. So like there was a lot of friendliness, and like Drake was always trying to be friendly with this dude, trying to be cool with him. And I don't think that fucking Kendrick ever respected Drake, bro. They're just two totally different dudes. You know what I mean? Like Kendrick's a fucking like he's a killer. Like he's angry. He's got a chip on his shoulder. And Drake, I feel like I've never been a Kendrick or a Drake dude. I'm not even a new age rap dude, to be honest with you. I'm stuck in the '90s, so like, it's all different for me. But this kind of shit, fucking, I felt like Drake has always had this thing about him where hip hop was trying to like throw him back up. You know what I mean? Like they were regurgitating Drake because this is what we were left with for the last almost 20 years was Drake. You know what I mean? And how he's been on top of hip hop, bro. And it's not like that we've had that gangster shit or any of that. It's all been this melodic, it went from Lil Wayne to Drake, and it's been this world of auto tune and like R&B style shit. It's not been like the same rap and hip hop we've been used to. You know what I mean? But he's good. Like he's still decent. Like he's got skill. He's got talent. Like with these beefs right here, or with these diss tracks, I felt like Kendrick kept trying to like take him out, bro, like at the knees and trying to do all this weird artistic shit that didn't really sound all that great, but you could understand all the shit that was put into it. And then when Drake would come back, I felt like he was real dismissive. I felt like he was real nonchalant, but I felt like he was real direct and genuine too and sincere.
Yeah.
And I felt like he sounded better a couple times. So like this whole beef thing is kind of weird to me because I don't really know who's come out on top. I feel like they're both kind of about the same to me. You know what I mean? I feel like Kendrick is doing some pretty dope shit in the things that he's doing well, but I feel like Drake's not fucking he's not bending over for nobody either. And I feel like he's kind of handling it. You know what I mean? He's handling it better than I expected him to. So that I don't know. What do you think, Doja? You're laughing. What's up?
Oh man. Okay. First off, you said a ton of keywords. So
Hit me with it.
you said Drake was the one that kind of put him on and he toured and everything. So I think these two just broke up like P. Diddy did everybody. Drake probably P. Diddy'd Kendrick Lamar. And now they're all hurt and they're fighting over, stuff because they're both lovers and they, used to tour together. He said who comes out on top? Drake, because that's who put him on.
So the thing that, okay, right, Drake and Lamar were on Lamar's debut album on the song Poetic Justice, and then they were on ASAP Rocky's song in the same year. in
Yeah.
2015, on the song on Big Sean's Control, uh, a bunch of rappers got called out. Drake, J. Cole, Meek Mill, Pusha T, ASAP Rocky, Big Crit, Whale, Pusha T, and even Big Sean among them. He says, I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you, he rapped, trying to make sure the core fans never heard of you. And so Drake responded in a cover story that I know Kendrick's not murdering me at all in any platform.
Well,
And
Drake's the only one that like, took offense to it. You know, like all the rest of them, like they knew where Kendrick was at. They were like, all right, I see you. You know what I mean? Like they took it for what it was. But Drake like took it kind of personally. You know what I mean? Like he felt like it deserved something. You know, so he clapped back.
yeah,
And yeah, it led to this whole craziness right here that we have here. We don't have a whole lot more time to jump on it right now. But how do you feel about where hip hop has evolved as far as like now that this beef is? Because a lot of people are talking about how this beef is changing the game and how hip hop needed this and all kinds of a big hoopla around this, like on social media and in different rap circles. That's kind of what's going on right now. Even on Club Shay Shay, it's a hot topic. Like it's on everywhere right now. So what are you thinking, Doja?
They idolize in society. They idolize drama and bullshit way too much. These are two little sissy girls that are fucking whining over shit. Like, I actually listened to 2 seconds of the video and I turned it off because shit sounds like crap. I hate auto tune. You don't have, if you can't have a voice and you only use your own shit, then like you suck to me. And I just feel like the state of hip hop, that's what they feed off of. Because another thing I didn't bring up was Tashi 6ix9ine, and I like his music. Like I'm not a fan, but I like his music. I'm not a fan of what he is and does. But he would just troll people and talk shit, and that's how he got famous. And it's like these guys sell this drama and this bullshit, like and keeping hip hop around dumb stuff and not conscious music and like if you have a voice like that and you have all these fans and everybody, oh yeah, he dissed Drake. Oh, what does that help? Why are you putting this shit out into the world and this negative and all this bullshit when you have a platform where you could be doing something real positive with it? And I just feel like I to me it just seems gay, like to like like to keep making songs and go on and on and on, like you're like they're in love with each other. It's like it reminds me of a breakup.
What are your thoughts, Grim?
I agree that it's all about drama, but in this instance, I do feel that it was needed, and because the way mumble rap changed the industry and all of the young rappers and all of that, the little whatevers, where lyrically it's not the same anymore. And J. Cole called out a bunch of rappers over it, right? And he's one of the guys that I feel is a top lyrical rapper. And for me, I really didn't have an interest in rap anymore because of the direction it was going, in recent years, coming from the ages that we did. Me and Soul, we're both 80s babies. So growing up through that, the 90s, the 2000s, all of this stuff, great music, to what it's become, it's definitely different.
Like like even like Tupac was him, that Biggie and all that stuff was going on, but they were both making like club songs and like dope songs to listen to, kick back to. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. They're like, yeah, we got this shit going on, but we're still making good music.
Yeah. Now I don't know if you guys know, but J. Cole also answered back because this whole thing started, like you said, with Kendrick. Kendrick had whatever he had to say. He had to get whatever off his chest, and he went at everybody. You know what I mean? So J. Cole also answered back and had this,
It's great.
I think, 7 minute drill or something like that. And
First
J.
person
Cole,
shooter.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Grim. What was that?
No, just saying, yeah, he did a song with Drake called First Person Shooter.
Yeah, but there's the answer back is like called 7 Minute Drill or something like that, where he answered back to Kendrick from this little thing that Kendrick did, and like the track I feel is honestly the tightest of all of them. You know what I mean? I wasn't really sold too much on a lot of the Kendrick stuff. I felt him lyrically, but sonically, like I felt like he was just doing too much. You know what I mean? It just felt like too much of an opera, and whatever. And it was like, And then the Drake stuff, um, I thought it was gonna be more la than what it actually was. You know what I mean? He did better than what I expected him to. So, I was kind of surprised through it. But with the J. Cole, his shit, bro, like he didn't cross any lines. He didn't cross any boundaries. He let you know what's up, and he said what he had to say, and I felt like it was good, and I was cool with it. But then he came back. He came back and he recanted, and he said that he kind of jumped the gun, sort of to speak. You know what I mean? And did it without thinking or whatever, and he took it back and apologized. And to me, that makes me feel a few different things. You know what I mean? It makes me feel, on one hand, like that speaks highly of his character, and it's like kind of a good thing, and like I'm proud of him and all these kind of things. But on the other hand, it makes me feel like he's kind of la as far as like some hip hop shit goes. You know what I mean? Because like I want to see this dude still stand his ground. He didn't cross any lines or any barriers. I don't feel like he had to apologize for anything, but he felt like he took himself out of character and he changed back to be more righteous. And like I give him props for it all. But it did kind of disappoint me a little because I wanted to see Homeboy follow through with whatever was going to happen. And he said in his video that the world wants that bloodbath. The world's out for blood. And like I don't know if you guys got to watch that video, that concert footage or whatnot, but he was real sincere in what he had to say there, and like I couldn't help but even though I was disappointed with the whole thing, I couldn't help but give dude props. You know what I mean? So I feel like he came out the best of all of them in this whole thing here, J. Cole. You know, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, I like Cole, and I get what you're saying, dude, but I do feel for the better. I feel like J. Cole's not the type of guy that wants to get involved with beef that could potentially end your way of making money, your life. You know what I mean? And so that's why I feel like he would step out. Um, but the thing is that in the end, Drake's going to come out on top because he's backed by Jay Prince. And if you don't know who Jay Prince is in hip hop, he's basically like the mob of hip hop. And he controls a lot of rappers, and Drake's his golden boy. And that's why the Pusha T beef got squashed. Why anyone who comes at Drake, the beef gets squashed because unless you're willing to take it to that next level of repercussions, then it basically gets squashed, you know? And that's where it's going to end up if they continue down this road.
Well, I guess we'll see. This has been a developing thing over the last couple of weeks.
But
So, and it's actually been, I'm sorry, what?
before we go on with the people that are gone, though, right? Jaguar Wright had mentioned that there's a list, and the list of the greatest rappers, the list are the same that are no longer with us. Do you ever think about that?
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
That the list of the greatest rappers are also the list of the people no longer with us.
I feel like
No,
there's some of them on there. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's what they all are, but there's definitely some of them on there for sure.
yeah, because I think like he's undercredited a lot too. But fuck, we known him and followed Tech 9 forever. I think that fool's up there too, fucking pretty badass. And
Yeah,
to me,
absolutely.
yeah. Hey, you were there that yeah, you were there that night, huh? We got drunk
I
with
was
him.
there.
Yeah, yeah, but
I, I like how we have that. Oh yeah, but then
You ever heard that story, Grim?
Yeah, you guys came to my house afterwards, remember?
Fuck, dude, we were so hyped and drunk. I hardly even. I just remember that like one fractions of that night.
I don't remember a whole lot from that night other than the experience itself. I remember some before and hardly anything about after. I don't remember going to your spot afterwards, Grim. But it was dope
That's
that night we
crazy.
got to meet it.
Remember
Yeah.
Maya,
I was only 19.
no, but Maya, Ashley, and Antone all lived in the same place as me. That's why 'cause it
Yep.
was
Uh, we're probably still wound up. Those were the drunken nights. We got so drunk that night.
He keeps saying we. Who the fuck is we? You got drunk that night. Shit. Fucking
Then
guy.
I remember we and Tech were both like kind of like wobbling. And it's like, hey, he's like, do original music, bro. It sells better, and you know, keep it original, man. All right, all right.
You know,
But
I wish I had the autograph still. You know, I'm a big nostalgia guy, so you know, I would have put that up here in the studio somewhere. It would have been tight, but I don't have it anymore. I'm sad about it.
I was wondering. I gotta look. I have like a treasure chest of old stuff, but I remember him. I had it on the napkin that he autographed, but I'm not for sure if I still have it. But I think Candace has the shirts because remember we had those red shirts, the uniform autograph too.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but
Well,
no,
anyway, before
hey,
we get into our songs here at the end,
oh yeah, we better.
let's go ahead and put a cap on this Kendrick and Drake thing. As far as where it's at right now, does anybody have
Hey,
anybody coming out on top actually, and like your final thoughts on it?
did you see where supposedly Drake's bodyguard got shot up?
I did see something on social media. I didn't look into it though. Did you look into it?
It just said that he shot up somebody shot up one of his bodyguards at the
yeah,
front gate or
he's
something like that.
involved with the beef. I know that much just due to Tuesday's shooting. It says they said that they don't know if the feud has led to Tuesday's shooting. The police, so they're involved in all of this beef. But I said my piece, with the J Prince. It's kind of what I feel like is going to happening.
Yeah.
It just gets squashed. You know what I mean?
All right, let's get into the good stuff. Whose
So,
favorite track?
well,
This
hold on.
track.
As far as my last words on the whole thing, I know I know that people are saying it's important for hip hop and all of these kind of things. I don't necessarily know if it's doing all the things that we're hoping it's doing, but I hope that we're able to get something good out of it still, you know? And I hope that more than anything, it at least inspires people to up their game and to test their lyrical abilities and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I know for me in particular, I've been I've been getting all kinds of inspiration all around me from all kinds of different things, and this I guess is part of it too. You know, maybe not as much as it has to others, but um, hopefully
Hey,
at least it's good for hip hop in that sense. You know what I mean? But I honestly I was more surprised and impressed with Drake than I thought I would be, and I feel like that's my main takeaway from this whole thing. I feel like Kendrick kind of does just what Kendrick does, and I'm not really partial either way. I feel like they're kind of neck and neck. I feel like they've both come out exactly the same. So I don't really think it's really changed anything. Uh, you want to start with the songs here, Doge?
yeah, so one of mine I picked was Slim Anus by ICP. And it was a diss track to Mr. Slim Shady. And it was hilarious. They basically took that song, "Hi, my name is," and they just filled in lyrics here and there about uh, Eminem's slim anus, and it was a great comical song, so that's why I picked it.
Grim, have you ever heard it?
Yeah, it's off of the Bizarre album. So me and
No,
so
it's the Psychopaths from Outer Space.
oh yeah, but it also came out on
He
the Bizarre,
he did
didn't
no, he did another diss. Please don't hate me, on the Bizarre album, and that was another diss to Eminem that they
yeah,
did.
they did do that with Twisted. Yep, you're right. So
Yeah,
no, but he is right about the Psychopaths from Outer Space. I have heard it. It is pretty funny, but like I said, I do feel that Eminem basically smashed that song in just one line. You know, what I mean? Where he was like, "Slim
yeah.
man, goddamn right, and it's I don't give fuck to mine like you two flaming," you know. So
Fuck.
I mean,
That beef goes on like for a long time. Like I don't know if you know, they did multiple tracks like where they were doing little jabs here at Eminem, and so was Eshawn. I was bumping some Eshawn songs, and he fucking he dotted pretty. He was pretty tight too, and did some disses on Eminem. But Eminem never once answered back on Eshawn.
yeah,
That's
but
what
it
that's
was
what never came at.
that's crazy about Esham.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah. Uh, I was just gonna say Eshawn, man. He's always been my favorite like my favorite rapper. And when I met him, he was the coolest dude, like mad cool, man. Like fucking, he was pretty cool people.
now I've never actually heard Slim Anus. I'm gonna have to.
Dude,
Yeah, now that I put it on the playlist, I'm gonna have to peep it out.
yeah, it's a good song. You'll have a good laugh because it wasn't like really like talking shit, hatefulness. It was just clowning and being stupid. You know, it's comical, like. And especially if you listen to Eminem's song, "Hi, my name is," and then listen to Slim Anus, oh, you'll really die.
All right,
Because you.
I'll do it that way. I'll do it that way. All right, Grim, what's your first song?
Well, we can already. I guess I talked about it already, but the DJ Quick and MC8, dollars and cents.
Hell yeah.
You know, and so here on this, it was saying at the end of the 80s, it was they're saying it was one of the where is it? The dispute between them was probably the most violent in history of rap and one of the longest, even if it was not as most mediatized as Nas or Jay-Z or Tupac and Biggie,
Why,
Oh,
why
the
would why was it one of the most violent?
because they were two gang members and it was over two sets in the Bloods. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of feuds, shootouts at clubs and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
really?
This isn't just it wasn't just rap. These are two active gang members, part of the same gang, two different sets.
damn the DJ Quick.
Yeah,
But I mean, that California gang scene, it's that's different over there. You know, like it's pretty violent.
well, that's why I J. Cole he said something about it in his song like that that's a West Coast thing. You know, gangs are. So you if you're not in the
Hey, look, the
yeah,
kids are throwing. Ah,
but if you're not in the he was saying that on the East Coast you shouldn't be banging, you know, because that's West Coast thing. That's where that started. You're just copying what they do.
yeah, yeah. I've
Huh.
met some. I've had some California homeboys that were pretty. They're pretty intimidating, man. They took that shit real serious.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right, Remo, what's your song, Remo?
my first song that I picked, I'm gonna actually take the second one because that's one that Doja had initially chose, but then he recanted, and then I picked it up because it's one of the most famous ones of all time, and we talked about it earlier. Is Ether. Ether, bro, is fucking exactly that. That shit is deadly as fuck. Ether was fire for hip hop when it came out. I remember that whole album, Stillmatic, was sick as fuck with Nas, and they had this song "Smoking" on that album. That's still one of my shits, bro. You know what I mean? I bump it all the time still. But Ether, bro, changed the game, and
Yeah.
it put fucking Jay Z. To me, I've never been a Jay Z dude, but you know, fucking Nas killed him with that track anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that track, that Ethers, that's a badass track, man.
And I told y'all that there's that third verse that apparently got destroyed.
Damn.
And you know that beef gets hella deep too with baby mamas and all kinds of shit involved. You know what I mean? So y'all ever heard of Crazy Head?
Uh,
Oh fuck. Look that up.
Uh,
You'll be tripped out. Anyway, let's get into our next one here. Doja, your second one.
what was it? I forgot.
It was real motherfucking G's from Easy E.
Oh yeah. That's because he was a real motherfucking G. Nah, actually, Easy E though, straight up, as he's always been in my top, like up there too. I like bump him all the time. Like he's just dope, man. And like I can relate to him too, because like he had a different voice and like distinct and stuff, you know. And I was like, he sounded like how Be Real is and stuff. Because I've told you before, I was like I always hated my voice, but like I liked how Easy and then Easy did that real G that just smashed them, you know. And then like in the era of the '90s, the gang banging and like it was just dope. The video was dope. Like that guy BG was on there. His verse was dope. Like it was just that was a real gangster ass track, you know, that West Coast flavor.
Yeah, bro, and like something that we haven't really mentioned is the beats. The beat for Ether, bro, and then the beat for this one, and
Oh,
fucking
I was
deadly ass beats, bro. These are
I,
some of the most iconic beats in hip hop history. You know what I mean? Like I love these fucking
yeah.
beats.
I was gonna say that too, like the production and the beat and everything with the punchlines and how they did the drums and the breaking points on that Ether song. That's what makes it even more deadly, you know. And then like that Easy E song right away, just like the first two sounds was like a West Coast sound, you know, like how it all just comes in, you know. You could tell that even if you didn't know who it was, you could tell that was a West Coast song.
Yep, for sure, bro. What do you feel about that song, Grim? You like that one?
yeah, it's all right. I mean, knowing the history of it and stuff, with Ice Cube having written it and, that being a big old fallout
What?
part.
Ice Cube wrote that song?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Are you sure?
God ruined my day.
Yeah, he ghost wrote Easy. So, that was the beginning of NWA.
Even after they broke up.
Yeah, the song with the piano, which,
Yeah,
I always felt the piano is definitely a West Coast sound. Not that I don't like the song, it's just that, and Ice Cube called them all out for all that because he wasn't going to beef with them. He wanted just out. It was
yeah.
freaking Jerry that all the beef between them started, you know?
That was another kind of sad story too, you know, with Easy passing away and all that crap.
Yep. What was your second song there, Grim?
So going into that and me speaking of the sounds and the piano and stuff is I chose Calling Out Names by Corrupt with Exhibit and Tim calling out DMX and RBX and uh 50 Cent basically. I like the song a lot. I like the sound of it. I think it goes hard. It reminds me of like Hit 'em Up. It's I've always liked Corrupt better than Snoop. I'm not a huge Snoop or Dre dude. I've always liked the Dog Pound better.
It's
I've liked
it's
Pop, DJ Quick.
well,
Oh,
like DJ Quick and Corrupt both like produce and make the music too. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they come lyrically tight, but they also are behind there making the beat. That's what makes like them sick too. You know?
yeah,
Yeah, I've always liked the Dog Pound.
yeah. I've always vibed with them, and you knew that about me, Remo. Ever since we've known each other, I've always been more of a DPG dude. I felt like they made the Dog Pound album more than Snoop did. Not to try to take away from Snoop, he's a good back then. Not so much now. I feel like he's more of a commodity now than he is an actual artist. But there was a beef between him and Snoop at one point that ended up getting squashed when the West Coast squashed all the beef with all West Coast rappers because they felt they needed to be united because the beef between East and West went on for so long that the West didn't want to have no more beef, and they had this conference. But anyways, according to the myth, is that there was two rappers that were rapping, Snoop Dogg and a rapper from Philly who had a California style, and he turned out to be Corrupt. And in this battle rap, it was deemed a draw. Nobody won. And Corrupt said that he always felt that Snoop held that against him since the beginning days,
Hmm.
and that he felt like it kind of made it so that he didn't help him get to that next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I've never heard that this Corrupt song. I'm gonna have to peep that one out too now that I put it on the playlist. Have you ever heard it, Doja?
No, I was just thinking that in my head. I want to check it out.
So
Yeah. Go.
Corrupt and Snoop actually did beef, and then both being Crips, Corrupt actually did an album with DJ Quick called Blackout, and they were chilling and stuff for basic like protection from the other side. And Snoop getting out of death row, he went to his cousin Master P for protection from Suge.
Well, P's not his cousin. There's no relation there or anything, but they definitely
Silk the
they,
Shaka,
uh,
Silk the Shaka.
yeah, Silk and P and City Murder, those three are brothers, yeah.
Yeah,
But we're running out of time here. We're under 10 minutes now, fellas. So I'm gonna make it quick with my last song here. I got Mac Stabber from Mac Dre. Y'all know I'm a big Mac Dre dude.
yeah,
This was a song against Mac Mall. That's who he was beefing with, who was actually somebody that was part of his crew, And then things are with your homeboys. Sometimes you go through it. So before Mac Dre passed, they were able to squash all the beef and come together again, and they worked together, and they were brothers again at the time of his death. So it all came full circle in this situation. But the song Mac Stabber, I think, is badass. I think Mac Dre kind of puts it down on there pretty dope. I encourage y'all to peep it out. But let's get into just a few, with the last couple minutes that we got here, fellas. Let's get into a couple of those honorable mentions that we were talking about. We just mentioned one right now as we were talking, but we really didn't get into it during the show. Is Hit 'Em Up. Hit 'Em Up
yeah.
was a
Oh yeah.
huge one. You know what I mean?
We
For hip hop beefs. The Pac one. We didn't really get into the Pac ones, but yeah,
I I wanted to like touch on some that were like kind of like not so known, you know. But
yeah,
but I mean, but that Easy E one was pretty popular. But
yep,
but uh but yeah, the Hit 'Em Up. I mean, he even did like parts 2 and 3 to that. Like he did a lot of disses on those fools in numerous tracks. And and the funny part about it now, if you guys pay attention, like Pac was trying to expose these people out back then. He dropped an album said Don kill Illuminati. Like he was showing how he was getting sacrificed. I even sent there was a leak recently that the original Machiavelli cover where they were cross dressing and stuff and like and he was talking about Dr. Dre's, his Fruities, his Alizé. He was. I mean, Hit 'Em Up is well known, but he was kind of exposing them out through a lot of songs and like letting us know. I mean, look at all these. weird things coming out now about Puff Daddy and or P Diddy. I mean, he changes his name so much, and you know, it's just crazy to me. You know,
Yeah. What
But
what other beef tracks, Grim? Honorable
so
mentions.
yeah, I was gonna say mention and hit him up because one of the ones that led to him mentioning Mob Deep was Shook Ones, which is a dope song, which Pac took that just like a song Exhibit did. You know, he took that as if they were saying it to him. And rumor has it that because Pac dissed Exhibit because of Exhibit's song Paparazzi, that basically killed Exhibit's career when Pac dissed Exhibit. They're saying it basically held him back. But both these songs, I've heard the rumor that these songs aren't about Pac, but he had assumed that they would take.
I
well,
didn't
yeah,
know
and there's an interview too where Pac was he didn't like Ice Cube either because he said
Mhm.
that when he got locked up, you know, they all started coming out with the West Side when he dropped the album in the West Coast, and I don't know, but you know, it's like there was a lot of beats. But one thing I want to mention as an honorable thing is Bone Thugs and Harmony did the whole Art of War album, and which was like a beautiful album, and they did a lot of diss tracks on there, and one of my favorites is You Ain't Bone, and Busy Bone and Lazy just come in there and tear that shit up and just spit it fucking tight, and then the DJ Unique is just come so dope with their beat and everything. It was just that was a really badass track. But there was Look Into My Eyes, Handle the Vibe. The first song on the first disc, they can't handle the vibe was just like coming out at them, you know, because everybody was hating on them because they were for whatever reason, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. There's one I would like to mention is that uh, I think the song was called "Stomp," and it was a Young Buck song, but it was the Ti and Luda beef um, on the same track, where Ti or who was it? Yeah, where Ti had the beat first, and he did his beat his verse to it, and he only had a little line in it where he said. Um,
But
like you making more than me, son, that's ludicrous or something like that. You know, like he had a line like that in it. So Luda took that and he got the song afterwards, you know what I mean? After T.I. put it down already and kind of jacked it all up and turned into this whole thing. And he's like, stay off the TIP of my dick. And it was just
Yeah.
some kind of sick shit. But that's my honorable mention. Any last words on the beefs before we out of here, fellas? Because we're down to the last couple minutes here.
spread peace, not beefs.
Yeah, you know this Kendrick and Drake thing's got hip hop all excited again and whatever. But
I
hopefully it leads to greener pastures either way.
I I just want to say I'm sorry that you know they had to put their breakup all over the news and the media and stuff, and hopefully they can kiss and make up and go to their midnight rituals again.
Grim.
They
Well, I guess that's it, fellas and people out there. Make sure you follow us and subscribe to all of our channels. Peep out all of our projects and shows. These guys got a new show out with their first fucking episode called What's That Called? And it's badass. I encourage y'all to peep it out. So
that's
check us all out. That's on their channels. They'll plug it everywhere. Follow us on all our shit. Dro Bros out.
bye guys.
Later.
Thank you, everybody, for peeping out the Dro Bro Show. Please don't forget to follow on all socials for all three of us and subscribe.